Welcome to Joy NewsPrime here on the Joy News channel. Coming up this hour, the perception that Dr. Bawumia would govern under President Akufo-Addo's influence has been cited as a key factor in the MPP's heavy electoral defeat. A fact-finding report also highlights concerns over the party's delegate system, describing it as a cancerous vote buying tool that hurt the MPP in the 2024 elections. Minority reject nomination of Justice Remsai as Deputy Attorney Designate following a clash between Chairman of the Appointment Committee, Bernard Ahiafo, and Ranking Member Alexander Afenyo-Markin, leading to an abrupt end of vetting of the nominee.
Will you withdraw?
Chairman, I'm sorry, I will not withdraw.
Well, to demonstrate to you that I am the chairman for this particular vetting committee, that may be your last question.
More as the chairman counter-rejects Afenyo-Markin's description of him as being whimsical, capricious, and rudely interjecting the vetting process.
Our rules, you will be requested to withdraw and sometimes apologize. When you refuse to do so, he is even lucky that I have not even cited him for contempt.
Also coming up, be truthful and candid about what you inherited. MP send message to President Mahama ahead of his first State of the Nation address of his second term. More from Parliament, where the NDC say John Mahama will use the address to concretize his vision of resetting Ghana.
Economy that was criminally mismanaged gave us electricity 24/7. So we want the president to come and tell us the economy that was criminally mismanaged.
Well, great expectations, which borders on how Ghana is going to roll into the future to reset.
The leadership style of former President Akufo-Addo has been described in the party's fact-finding committee report as one that was marked by perceptions of rigidity, single-minded decisions, and a government dominated by family and friends. Has also been cited as a key factor in the MPP's disappointing performance in the Ashanti region during the last election. The mode of selecting the party's presidential, parliamentary, and national and regional executives is also blamed for the poor showing of the MPP in that region. These revelations come from the findings of a fact-finding report led by Chairman Sabonsu. Let's share with you sections of this report, as we get now. If you look at it, the report says party members partly blame former President Akufo-Addo for the party's defeat. The government of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo was also perceived to be corrupt by 41% of the respondents. And they say cases they cited to buttress their perception included the National Cathedral Project, Cecilia Daper's Bruhaha, you remember the particular case, illegal gold mining, Galamsey. They also cite missing excavators, COVID-19 vaccine supplies at the Ministry of Health. They cite PDS, a Japan deal, the American contract extension, sale of employment and scholarships, a slot to party people and to Ghanaians in general. They also cite the national ambulance maintenance contract, among others, to buttress their point that the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo government was corrupt. Now, they revealed that this was a great source of apathy for the party and affected its electoral fortunes in the 2024 general elections. Now, on the leadership style of former President Akufo-Addo, 87 of the respondents asserted that the president was seen to be unmoved by public sentiment and concerns, and they make reference to his first term. They say that, his first term was one that, he performed very well, but the second term, it was as if he had closed his mind to whatever thing that Ghanaians will say. So that is, by way of that. Now, they stated that they found the president to be non-receptive to ideas and suggestions to the very issues that would have made 2024 elections easier. Some of the respondents said the first term of the president was very good and that he was a listening president. However, they state that in his second term, he appeared to have exhibited stiff neck, intransigence, and vindictiveness. That's what they say, amongst other traits which did not augur well for the party's fortunes at the polls. So these are part of the, the things they say. Now, when it comes to position on selection of parties, candidate for various positions, the narratives of the respondent indicate that current party regulations require a bottom-up approach where 5 polling station executives are expected to be elected from their polling stations. However, these people are often handpicked instead of being elected to represent, the people at the polling centers. And under the same regulations, these polling station executives are also supposed to vote to elect the electoral area coordinator. But then again, the respondents say these coordinators are often handpicked. They further reveal that over the years, this system has proven to be cancerous in several respects, breeding perpetual conflict. And they move on to say, after the conflict, it also breeds apathy, corruption, and discontent among the rank and file of the party, MPP supporters and sympathizers, and the generality of the Ghanaian voters. Now, in this research, about 98% of the respondents were of the view that only few members of the party get the chance to select parliamentary candidate for the constituencies. So this is the point they say. Hence, the parliamentary candidate who gets elected do not usually have the acceptance of the majority of the voting population. According to the respondent, the delegate system has degenerated, listen to this, into a vote-buying machinery through which incentives such as cash, fridges, TV set, motorbikes, bicycles, spraying machines, pesticides, weedicides, mobile phones, clothes, and many others are used to induce voters. So these are, part of the things that respondents in this particular research have put forth to this particular committee. Now, former majority leader of the 8th Parliament and chairman of the fact-finding committee, Osei Mensah Bonsu, has been sharing some thought on how to salvage the MPP.
It's unfortunate that we've gotten to this extent. When this delegate system started, people paid some stipends to the participants. Initially, when we started, they were even just serving them food. It came to substituting that with the provision of TNT to those of them who assembled at one place to cast their votes. And it was near transport fares that were paid. Today, it's escalated into something else. And we all know the outcome of it. So people are saying that let's go further downstream. Some of the university professors that we met also came with some other suggestion. Now look, this whole thing is about delegate. And a delegate does not bear his own voice. He carries the voice and the thinking of the people that he represents. For instance, I'm a member of parliament. I go to represent Ghana's parliament outside Ghana. There is a forum where Ghana's parliament has to vote. I don't represent myself. The issues before we leave, we take positions on them. And if, say, we have to vote, then led by our speaker would say that on this matter, Ghana votes, maybe if we have about 15 votes, Ghana will vote maybe 12 for this item. The next one, maybe 2, and the other one goes to maybe a third option. That's how we do it. So the university professors were saying that, look, at International Fora, this is how it's done. So if maybe we want to really keep to the delegate system as it is now, then the constituencies must meet and take positions, and the delegates will then bear the decisions of the constituency, in which case they will not be representing themselves, but they will be representing the constituency position. we are doing now, the status quo, is not serving the interest of it's causing divisions, it's causing polarization, and people are taking undue advantage and, turning the party structures into a money-making machine, which is not good for the image of the party.
Let's bring in, Dr. Kwame Asante. He is a political scientist with the University of Ghana. Doc, I'm grateful for joining. Now, how must the party approach its rebuilding process from the report that we are gathering?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. If you look at what they've churned out, it is an indication of the fact that a lot of things that were said in public space, which they could have cashed in on that and then use it, fell on deaf ears. And now, here we are. Going forward, I think some recommendations have been given in the report, and they need to work on that. If you look at issue of corruption, the party, as in the leadership, particularly the president, was always dismissive of issue of corruption, and to the extent that the opposition people had to give him a name tag, a clearing agent, which he was not comfortable with. But look at the report. It tells you that there was massive corruption within the party. They recounted the corruption within the state, that the government turned blind eye on that and all this. And you see, extended further to that, you realize that if you go to Transparency International, corruption report was there, and the party will not work with that. Yeah. So I know that I am happy that this thing is going to humble them, and that they have to take them seriously, and then work on that one by one issue of corruption, make a conscious effort to deal with it. We were talking about, monetization in politics. Political parties have said that it's not true and all that. Here you are. And that they are apostles of monetization in politics. And look at their people saying that. And that, it gets people so angry. The issue of, sometimes I think that the party is in self-denial. Because if you look at the fact that they said that, our people, 2 million people didn't go to vote. Look at the report. It tells you that a number of things led to apathy, all right? And one of it is corruption. So in political science, when you have people, you expect them to vote for you, and they don't vote, then what it means that indirectly they voted against you. You're expecting 10 people, 5 people come to vote. You are going to share the vote with the 5. And it means that the others abstain. And abstention is also part of indirect vote. They are voting against you. And that is what happened. So they have to deal with that issue of ethnicity and religion. We've said it time again that it does not play part in politics. And the literature is clear on that. And that is the report that you see now. Because I have said it in your network that if that is anything to go by, Dr. Bawumia in the first place wouldn't have won the primaries, which 9 accounts contested against him, and then he won, and even Ashantis were 7 in number, and some of the places, the polling station in Ashanti region, Ashanti scored 0 and all that. Is it issue of ethnicity in here? Religion. Right. MPP is dominated by Christians and all that. So ethnicity, they should throw away. They should deal with vote buying, and the issue of conflict resolution. Their ADR mechanism should be strong. If you read the report, you realize that a lot of issues from previous primaries were brought to the fore. And they did not handle that. They need to strengthen their ADR department and deal with post-election conflict and all that.
Doc, I'm grateful
and then also
you.
not to turn blind eye on the issue of nepotism, which for me is extended towards state capture. I mean, and above all, what I also saw, and it's missing in the report, nobody could muster the courage and tell the president face to face that, Mr. President, with all due respect, we are going on the wrong route.
All right. I'm grateful to you, but let me bring in someone who was bold enough to tell the president that there had to be change, but it didn't happen. Andy Apiakobe is former MP for Asante Achem North. He joins us via Zoom now. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining. Now, you've been in party leadership before. You've been a member of parliament. In trying to rebuild a party from the grassroots, what would be your proposal? What should the party do?
Well, you just identified me as the former member of parliament, but I think you should go further than that and look at me within the youth wing in the year 1999-2000 as acting leader of the youth wing. So I was involved in grassroots mobilization. So at this point where we have all realized that we have made mistakes in our attempt to break the aid, we should get back and go to the drawing board and revisit the grassroots. So we have identified all the nuances that brought us to this position. And it is humbling for us to accept that which went wrong with our persons in leadership and even in our campaign. So the first point of call is the acceptance of what went wrong.
Okay.
When we do that, we need to apologize to our following why we had to behave the way we did. And after the apology, then we begin to make prayer to them for them to forgive us, and then let us start bringing everybody back home again. I want to particularly comment on leadership, and it comes through the Constitution of Ghana. The executive presidency is un-African. Any African given absolute power and authority tends to be a despot. And, we have history is replete with examples. So we don't have to repeat that. African given absolute authority behaves inhumanly. And that is something that we need to check. And our constitution rather aggregates power and put in one person's hand as an executive president.
But in your party, that someone has an absolute power if the person is not president?
My brother, once the person is a president of Ghana, once the person is a president of Ghana, he has absolute power in Ghana. How less can he behave in a political party?
Okay.
In the whole country, he has absolute power and authority.
All right.
You expect him to behave less in the political party, which is a minute part of the whole? No. He carries that absolute power and authority into his party and operates to limit every power within the party and impose himself on everybody in the party. So even when it comes to selection of candidates or selection of persons into positions, he says something, and that is the given position.
Okay, all right.
Even though one or two persons may have the competence to raise issues, it is more or less a given situation as long as he has nominated or he has.
I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Andy Apiakobi is former MP for Asante Achem North. Now, away from that, the minority on the vetting committee has rejected the nomination of Justice Remsai as Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice. This follows a clash and abrupt termination of the vetting of the nominee after ranking member Alexander Afenyo-Marking refused to apologize for describing the chairman of the committee as being whimsical and capricious and rudely interjecting proceedings. Chairman Bernard Ahiafo was forced to stop the ranking member from continuing with his questioning after failing to force an apology from the ranking member. But what exactly led to this? There's more in the following report.
Between Chairman Bernard Ahiafo and his ranking Alexander Afenyo-Marking began when the ranking member during his questioning asked the nominee Justice Remsai to demonstrate how the Akpi dance of the people of Bedome is performed. Chairman Ahiafo stepped in and overruled the question, an action which did not sit well with the ranking member.
Chairman, if you decide to be whimsical and capricious, it will not advance the work of this committee. Apart from the constitutional issues involved, it is also about our culture. We've had nominees speaking their dialect here. And I do not think that if you start by is overruled.
After a number of failed attempts to force an apology from Afenyo-Marking, The chairman decided to stop him from further proceeding and ended the vetting process.
Ruling the question that you are not going to demonstrate any dance.
You were whimsical and capricious in the way you overruled my question. I will not withdraw.
You would not demonstrate any dance. This is not a demonstration forum. This is appointment committee. So I insist that you withdraw the word that I'm being whimsical and capricious.
Chairman, I will not withdraw. I'm sorry. I will not withdraw. You rudely overruled me. I will not withdraw.
I would again ask that you withdraw the word rudely.
Chairman, one more time, I will not withdraw. I'm sorry.
Will you withdraw?
Chairman, I'm sorry, I will not withdraw.
Well, to demonstrate to you that I am the chairman for this particular vetting committee, that may be your last question.
After a brief caucus meeting, the minority returned with an announcement.
The minority caucus hereby rejects the nomination of the Deputy Attorney General, and that the decision of it would be solely yours as a majority caucus. For today, all other nominees, in furtherance of our protests, we are also rejecting them, and then your decision, it will remain your decision as majority caucus. God willing, tomorrow, we are receiving the president. Our understanding is that there is no vetting. On Friday, God willing, will be available. And if the posture remains same, we will advise ourselves on the next line of action.
But the chairman rejected this position, warning he could have cited Apenyu Markin for contempt over his action.
I'm entitled to overrule a question. When you want to convert the appointment committee, and for that matter, the vetting room into a dancing floor, I think the just thing for me to do is overrule that particular question. In Parliament, anytime unparliamentary language is used, by our rules, you will be requested to withdraw and sometimes apologize. When you refuse to do so, he is even lucky that I have not even cited him for contempt. Honorable members, let's make progress.
The minority later staged a walkout, leaving the subsequent two other vettings for the majority. James Savage's report for Joy News.
Well, the minority, again, calling on President John Mahama to be truthful about the country he inherited from the MPP when he delivers his message on the state of the nation tomorrow. John Mahama is expected to address Parliament for his maiden State of the Nation address of his second term on Thursday. Speaking to journalists in Parliament, the MPP MP singled out employment, the economy, power crisis as the key issues they expect John Mahama to be candid about.
A huge unemployment rate in this country. I'm sure he's going to address that. Not because he inherited that, but because he's creating that through his chief of staff. He signed a letter terminating and revoking the appointment of young Ghanaians that have been appointed into various state institutions. The directive was poor, was bad, was malicious. That is my view about that. In the same vein that the same chief of staff signed letters for people on the 19th of December, employing them even to the highest level of governance in this country. Now we have a huge unemployment rate. You can see the TUC's letter admonishing him to rescind that decision that he's made. I'm sure, maybe, probably, tomorrow, I'm expecting that he speaks to that.
Economy that was criminally mismanaged, was able to give Ghanaians children free secondary education. Economy that was criminally mismanaged, was able to pay allowances to nurses and teachers. Economy that was criminally mismanaged, was able to give some infrastructure. Economy that was criminally mismanaged gave us electricity 24/7. So we want the president to come and tell us the economy that was criminally mismanaged.
His Excellency would not continue on that
looking back all the time. He's been in power for close to two months. His energy minister told us that they've been able to procure alternative fuel and that we expect the lights to be on. I think they should focus on that rather than continuously blaming the previous government. The reality now is that there is some intermittent power outages. I anticipate that yes, he'll give us some breakdown of how the economy was handed over to him, but I want him to dwell more on what next he intends to do going forward.
Meanwhile, the NDC side believes the president will deliver hope to the people and concretize his vision to reset the country.
Well, great expectations, which borders on how Ghana is going to roll into the future to reset, as he himself has touted so far. And we expect to see the hopes of Ghanaians renewed towards many of the things that are in our manifesto in the area of education, health, agribusiness, etc., etc. So high expectations that we will see all these areas touched on in terms of programs that will be rolled out to actually bring back a lot of enthusiasm, particularly jobs for the youth.
I'll be expecting the state of the nation the state of the nation address and the president addressing that issue. Again, my other expectation is that the true state that we inherited as the majority will be reflected tomorrow, because we know that His Excellency Nana-Addo Dankwa, just before he was exiting office, gave us a state of the nation and told us that Ghana is not broke. There's so much that he has left for us. But tomorrow, I believe, by the time we hear the true state of the nation, indeed, we will know where and what we inherited.
This is still Joy NewsPrime. We'll take a break here. We will be back with more. Please do stay. Welcome back from the break. Now, government is ramping up efforts to combat illegal mining with a proposal to establish local policing units at the district and constituency levels. The destructive practice has left vast tracts of arable land unusable, decimated forest, and polluted critical water sources. Now, unveiling a series of bold interventions, Land Minister Akufo-Addo announced plans to expand the District Security Council membership to include the Environmental Protection Agency, Forestry Commission, and other key agencies. Speaking at a special forum on illegal mining in Accra, he stressed the urgency of reclaiming Ghana's lands and water bodies before the damage becomes irreversible. Stephen Menson's report, right to you.
The government is taking decisive steps to curb illegal mining with new proposals aimed at strengthening enforcement at the grassroots level. Addressing stakeholders at the Accra Forum, Lands Minister Akufo-Addo emphasized the need for urgent action to reverse the destruction caused by illegal mining.
We are proposing a local permitting and policing unit by expanding. Just think about it. The whole structure we have right now is centered in Accra. The EPA and the Minerals Commission who are giving the licenses. We have to.
Now, as Africa struggles with the devastating effect of climate change, ranging from heat waves and floods to droughts that threaten agriculture, securing the necessary funding for climate solutions remain a major challenge. Accessing climate finance continues to be a significant barrier for those driving climate action. To address this, the Hatto Foundation is equipping some civil society organizations in Ghana with the skills needed to navigate climate financing. By building their capacity, these organizations are now better positioned to secure crucial funds, implement impactful projects, and enhance community resilience against the worsening climate crisis. For Climate Focus, Mahmoud Mohamed Nouruddin reports.
Africa is one of the most climate vulnerable regions globally, experiencing a faster rise in surface temperatures than the global average, alongside more unpredictable weather patterns. According to the World Meteorological Organization's 2022 report, these events have caused significant loss of life and billions of dollars in economic damages. The IPCC in 2022 said a large portion of the population in sub-Saharan Africa works in climate-sensitive sectors like agriculture, making them even more susceptible to the impacts of climate change. Professor Nana Ama-Kloche is a lead author contributing to the IPCC SIF assessment report.
We already have the impact of climate change that is huge on Africa and many vulnerable communities, especially in Africa. And so we should do our best to help mitigate the issue of global warming.
This is where the training for civil society organizations in Ghana becomes crucial. Participants are learning not just theory of climate finance, but practical approaches to developing, monitoring and implementing climate change projects. Ransford Nisaki is from CASA.
With this program, I've learned how to be able to connect our project with both national and international policies and treaties.
Another participant, Paulina, who is also from RAIN, shares her experience.
I know different funding organizations have their own criteria. So if you are able to know, especially with the GCF, we are able to know their criteria, how we can go about it, then we'll be able to target any proposal that we write towards them so that we'll be able to get funding to support our projects.
Samuel Duche is the Chief Executive Officer of Hattof Foundation.
Globally, when the fund was established in 2010 and started operation, Hattof Foundation is the only NGO in Africa and the second NGO in the world that was able to access the money directly from the fund through a direct entry access from from Senegal with the courtesy of the Ministry of Finance, the Climate Financing Division. So we want to translate that capacity. We want to diffuse that knowledge to other CSOs so that collectively we can also even support the government of Ghana, because it is not just easy for even national institutions to access the money.
The project, funded by over $442,900 grant from the Green Climate Fund, supports the implementation of Ghana's nationally determined contributions (NDCs) under the Paris Agreement. A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
Africa stands at a pivotal moment, striving to balance economic growth with environmental sustainability. Speaking at the Alliance for Science Global Consortium meeting in Nairobi, Kenya, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, the MPP's running mate in the 2024 election, underscored the urgent need for strong political leadership in tackling climate change, poverty, and resource management. He cautioned that without informed and committed leaders, Africa's sustainability challenges will persist, jeopardizing the future of generations to come.
I believe that Africa is a continent of immense potential. We are home to 30% of the world's mineral reserves, especially the critical minerals necessary for our current development. We have the 65% of the arable lands in the world, which is suffering. We have huge oil and gas reserves. Yet we are also the continent most vulnerable to climate change, despite contributing the least to climate change or greenhouse gas emissions. This paradox places us at the heart of the global sustainability debate. Sustainability, encompassing environmental protection, social equity, and economic viability, is not merely an option, but an imperative for our survival and prosperity. While individual actions are crucial, actual systemic change that addresses the scale of the climate challenges we face today require political will and leadership. We have, as a humanity, organized ourselves in society, and we, from generations, have decided that societies must have leaders, and it's these leaders
Now, building on this, Dr. Prempe highlighted Africa's immense potential, noting that the continent hosts 30% of the world's mineral reserves and 65% of its arable land. Now, he urged leaders to move beyond short-term political gains and prioritize long-term policies that ensure sustainable development, stressing that sustainability must be more than just a slogan. He called for collective action from policymakers, citizens, and businesses to drive meaningful change.
The reality, however, is that sustainability doesn't happen in a vacuum. It requires the political will, that means the ability to enact policies that may not yield immediate electoral benefits, but will serve future generations. For we politicians, our minds is tuned to 4-year electoral cycle. And we have to make policies and enact laws. That one, I heard this morning, 80% must go. No thinking. That is not what we need. We need informed political leaders to make sure that we don't lose out in this sustainability debate.
Well, away from that, the Electoral Commission Chairperson Jane Mensah has assured the public that the ongoing parliamentary impasse in the Ablekuma North constituency will soon be resolved. The constituency remains without a member of parliament, raising concerns among residents and political stakeholders. Speaking during a meeting with various political parties, Jane Mensah acknowledged the frustration surrounding the delay, but refrained from providing a specific timeline from its resolution. She emphasized that the EC is actively working to address the situation and restore parliamentary representation for the constituency. She further disclosed that the EC intends to convene a meeting with all political parties involved to update them on measures being taken to resolve the matter.
We'll bring the two candidates and their parties together and we'll have a meeting to discuss it. I'd like to just place on record that that collation was done in the presence of your agents. Your party was written to and you participated. So it was not done on the blind side. However, as I mentioned, we'll have an in-depth meeting to discuss it. It's important to note that it was not, that the impression is being created that it was done
in addressing other issues, the EC chairperson also dispelled rumors that she deliberately refused to attend the inauguration of President John Mahama on January 7. She clarified that it is not the Commission's policy for its members, including the chairperson and deputies, to attend swearing-in ceremonies unless they receive an official invitation, of which they did not.
I'm aware that the political parties are doing their own, undertaking their own reviews, and so are we. As we speak, we've started a bottom-up approach where we've started from our field officers, our district officers, all the way to the regional level. And we intend to also meet with our regional leaders and heads in the coming days to undertake a thorough and in-depth examination and assessment of the 2024 election. We are also mindful that a lot of you are doing the same. And so at the right time in the coming weeks, the Commission will hold a meeting with a view to having a discussion on the elections, right from the A to Z, from registration to declaration, to look at the lessons learned, what worked well, what didn't work so well, and what we can do to improve upon elections and to chart the way forward.
Now, the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana, TEU Ghana, has threatened a nationwide strike over the withdrawal of car maintenance allowance for junior staff members initiated by the actual MPP administration. Local chairman at KNUST, Charles Arthur, says contrary to earlier agreement, the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, has directed heads of tertiary institutions to withdraw the allowance. The union is therefore demanding a pullback of the said directive, threatening to lay down their tools if it proceeds. Nana Boache Yadom has more in the following report.
In August 2024, TEU Ghana
GTEC, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ministry of Finance and other stakeholders agreed on the payment of vehicle maintenance allowance to junior staff at the tertiary level. The allowance was introduced to support junior staff members who use their personal vehicles for official duties. However, GTEC recently announced that it will be withdrawing the allowance as part of the austerity measures to reduce the public sector wage bill. The directive also raises concerns about eligibility of junior staff members who receive the allowance. But the KNUST chairman of TEU Ghana, Charles Arthur, says the withdrawal of the vehicle maintenance allowance for junior staff is a breach of contract.
Our concerns now is that the letter that the GTEC has written is in bad faith because it's contrary to the directives of the Labour Commission. The car maintenance allowance is our entitlement. It's not a wholesale thing. It is only when you have applied for it, you are using it, you have applied for it, and you go through the procedure before you will be eligible to pay.
Charles Arthur argues the withdrawal of the allowance is unfair and will disproportionately affect junior staff members who are already struggling with low salaries.
We have instances where people have commercial vehicles, they are using it in performing their duties, yet they are not entitled to it, they are ineligible. Again, we also have people who also use car, they are junior staff, seniors, or whoever it is, you are using car and it is not in your name. You have not transferred ownership into your own sole name. You cannot make claims.
The union has given the government an ultimatum to pull back its directive, failing which they will withdraw their services.
We'll lay down our tools because we have written to all the stakeholders, and it means that we want to indicate that we are satisfying the requirement of Section 159 of the Labour Act, who talks about the intention to strike or lockout. That if we did not come this month, we'll lay down our tools because we are satisfied the requirement to go on strike. We'll go on strike.
For Joy News, Nana Boache Dankwa-Yadom, Kumasi.
Welcome back. Let's do showbiz now. And Becky Bex is here with all the gist you need. Hi, Becky. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Brace. How you doing?
I'm great.
Let's move straight to the stories this evening. In 1983, thousands of Ghanaians were forcibly expelled from Nigeria, a moment in West African history which has largely remained untold. Playwright Kwame Boydi is, however, recreating the past to uncover what actually happened during that era in his piece, Omogana, Man for Chop. This docudrama brings this powerful story to the screen, offering a moving exploration of personal struggles, resilience, and broader implications of migration. The docudrama delves into themes of displacement, identity, and the human spirit, urging viewers to reflect on the lasting impact of political decisions on everyday lives. There's more in the following report.
The docudrama Omogana, Man for Chop uncovers the untold story of Ghanaians expelled from Nigeria in 1983. Speaking after a special screening for the public, the director Kwame Boydi urged viewers and the public to consider issues of displacement while emphasizing the strength of the human spirit and the need for thoughtful migration policies.
2 million West Africans, including 1 million Ghanaians, were expelled from Nigeria. So 2023 was the 40th anniversary of it. They did a series of talks and workshops to commemorate the 40th anniversary. We were privileged to attend one of them. And so when I was sitting there, and I was like, so this is going to happen just today and tomorrow, and that's it. So why don't we do a documentary? That was the inspiration. So if we were deliberate about training people, those who are needed elsewhere, really needed, and they were to go, and we know Ghanaians remit back to build for health, for school. Maybe we don't even need the so-called international donors anymore. So yes, we must create the jobs here, the opportunity here, because for some people, they have a comparative advantage in living here.
Culturist Nana Feridua Oforiata encouraged the audience of the play to reflect on the lessons from the past and how they apply to current global struggles.
Very clearly, we have a history that must be told. It's a serious history. It's one where we keep repeating ourselves because we don't know the history. And that's what I think they're achieving. by telling the story so people know what has happened and know not to repeat ourselves. It isn't travel that's a problem. It's how people are treated and what sometimes they leave behind. So there's wealth in Ghana, and we must work for it. Meanwhile, where you're going, people fought for it to get where it is. This is our history, and we must learn from it. Work for things. That's how you build success.
A character in the docudrama, Ben Affet, highlighted the personal struggles and resilience of those affected by forced migration, offering important insight into mass immigration social impact.
Know that there are a lot of Ghanaians who want to legally travel, and there are scrupulous people or fraudulent people who would want to take advantage of that premise. So all I encourage is Ghana, if you want to travel, there are right channels to travel. You can make all your inquiries you can, but do not use these guru agents. They don't have anything in mind for you. Make sure we travel safe.
The personal stories and community solidarity highlighted in the docudrama provides a powerful reminder of the strength of the human spirit and the importance of addressing migration policies in our world today. Jennifer August report read to you.
Now, the newly appointed Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Tourism Authority, Mami Akufo-Addo, has expressed hopes in improving the tourism sector in Ghana. Speaking to Kwame Daze on Joy FM Showbiz A to Z, Mami Akufo noted that she was the right fit for the job and was ready to help make the tourism industry better. Asked Dave Kwesi-Agyeman's performance as GTA CEO puts pressure on her. Take a listen.
It certainly does. It certainly does. But the truth is that before Kwesi-Agyeman came to GTA, nobody knew him.
Yeah.
He was a low-key person at Happy FM.
Right.
He had an affiliation with Global Alliance.
Media
Alliance.
Yeah.
And I knew him at the time.
Okay.
Because I'd done a job with him at Ghana at 50, you know. So, yeah, I knew he was a quite unassuming man, you know, until he came onto the seat. It also took a while to settle in, and he did the magic. And I think that his background in marketing
Yeah.
and events
Media. Yeah.
really helped.
Right.
And I believe that I pray to God that I'm able to do same and even more because we have similar backgrounds.
GTA president right there, and Brace, the confirmation or a lot of appointments coming in. One of those, Abeku Agri-Santana as deputy CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority. And we also have KOD as
the presidential advisor
on diaspora affairs. And also we have Rex Omar. He's also been appointed as presidential staffer for Black Star Experience.
Okay.
So congratulations to them, right?
Oh yes. Yeah. I mean, so a lot of people from the creatives getting
appointment, and we're very excited about that. Thank you so much for having me here on the show.
Okay, all right. Thank you for bringing that. And thank you at home for watching us. This has been all we have for you in this package. There's more on myjoyonline.com. Coming up next, there's Prime Business with Pius Kojo Baka. Thank you for being a part of us tonight.